And welcome to the Full Advisor Coaching Podcast with your host, Kristin Herod. Kristin, good to be with you.
Good to see you, Bill.
I'm excited here because, well, it's the fourth quarter. And as anybody who's got anything to do with financial advising and the financial service business knows, it's a nutty time of year. There are all kinds of things happening, all kinds of client demands. You got the year end. You've got a lot of stuff to sort through. And I think it probably, I don't know, you would know this better than me. I think it shorts a lot of people out. I think they look at it and they feel overwhelmed and they think, oh, I don't know, man, I don't know what I'm going to get done or how I'll ever get it done.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really tough time of year because we didn't even touch on the holidays, right?
Oh,
yeah,
it's true.
Like you got the holidays in November, December. You got things happening, and my birthday too. So you don't want to overlook that. Yeah. So
no, we don't. Happy birthday in advance.
Yeah. So there's all the fun things that happen this time of year, and parties, and engagements and social time too. And so there's a lot that comes together. Not to mention year end, which. And a lot of advisors are planning now for the next year and checking in on how they're doing for the year. So I thought it would be useful today to kind of take a little break, give everyone a respite to reframe and take a look at mindset. Like, how is it that we can shift our mindset over the next 2 months to really actually get some things done rather than just punt and go, it's too busy, I can't get all done, it's chaos, I don't know what to do. So rather than kind of getting into that overwhelming state, we can look and go, what is it that I can do to make the end of the year finish strong? And then, get into the new year feeling prepared, fresh, ready to go, rather than, okay, let me just wait until later.
That's never a very good solution.
I know. And this is actually what we talk about today, because people might listen at any point in the year later. It doesn't have to be just because we're heading into the holidays. It could be that you are midway through a quarter and you have your quarterly rocks or goals that you want to reach, and you're like, oh my God, how are we going to do that? Or it could be you have a big trip coming up and you know you have things you want to get done before you go on vacation to relax. And it's like, okay, what do I do? So today we're really trying to look at how can we reframe our brain, our mind, so we can decide what's important to finish and what's important to move ahead and what we can let go of for a while. So
yeah, it's hard to get out of that mindset though, that it's like, hey, I'm crunched here. I'm running out of time, and it's just there's no way I'm going to get this done.
Yeah. And that's definitely the scarcity mindset popping right in there, right? And the best thing you can do is go, okay, I am sitting in a state of scarcity, right? So we have to flip it to what's possible, what's the opportunity here, what's the abundance framing that we can have, right? So if we can do that first shift, which we'll call the scarcity to opportunity, and you start to think, okay, what is possible? The good thing about frenzy is if you can let it go, you can go, all right, this is crazy. Let me figure out what I can focus on, and then bring it down to the focus. So I think this is where it's really important to get one project with one outcome completed. So, I don't know if you've ever had this, Bill, but you go into the weekend kind of with that big, like, oh, everything all week you've pushed off. You're like, I'll get to it this weekend. Then you head into the weekend. You're like, my husband loves to do this. He's like, here's my weekend goals. And it'll be like a list of random house things, maybe a work project, something with the kids, something like family oriented. And he'll list all these things, plus exercise, plus I'm going to make dinner, and then he comes Sunday, he's like, I didn't get nearly all of the things done I wanted to get done. And he gets really frustrated. And it's just funny because you're like, you really have to kind of go in and go, this weekend, I think I'll focus on meal prep for the week and just get to the store, get everything lined up. And that's going to be my main goal of the weekend, right? Or like, I don't have a yard, but if I did, I bet I would do some yard work or something. But I don't know. But that one seems to come up. But like, rather than the overwhelming, exhaustive list where you're like, I cannot win, right?
Yeah, what I end up doing is if I have a list of things and I get through Saturday and I arrive at Sunday and I realize I've done almost nothing, maybe sometimes nothing on that list, I'll think, okay, this afternoon I can at least get this one thing done. I can take care of this. It won't be the whole list, but at least I will have gotten something done.
Yes. It's like, let me complete one item. And I think this is really important for advisors too, who are looking at all the things they still want to do before the end of the year. And then it's like, okay, you might get a bunch of them done. You may not, but pick one that we know we can complete with certainty. Yep. So if you're like, okay, I said I was going to publish a blog post before the end of the year and kind of have something that says, these are the things to think about going into the new year. And you're like, I just don't, I want to make sure it's exhaustive. I want to make sure I cover everything. I want to make sure I don't overlook anything. Okay, just sit down, open up some Chat GPT, have a conversation, work through it, add your expertise, add your specialty, block maybe 2-3 hours max where you go, I will have this done at the end of this period of time, and publish what you have or get it over to compliance, whatever your next step is that you have to do. But just pick one thing, be like, okay, I wanted to have 18 different blog posts that I put out this quarter, but now I just get one. Okay, I got one. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll actually get 2 in. Hey there, it's Kristin. Quick break. If you're enjoying the show and you want more, head on over to fulladvisorcoaching.com/resources. You can download the toolkits that I have there and join the free insider community. You'll be the first to hear about new trainings, fresh podcast episodes, and I share with you real-world strategies that I see working for advisors right now. That's fulladvisorcoaching.com/resources. Go sign up. It's completely free. And now, back to the show.
It's funny because when you at least when I've done that in the past, I felt really good about getting that one thing out of 4 on my list done because at least I got something done.
Right. And then it does give momentum, right? Because then you go, it actually gives you confidence then that you could complete something else.
Yeah.
So I feel that way every time I publish a LinkedIn newsletter. I feel this like super excitement because I think it's something about like putting it into the application and putting in the like hitting the schedule. I schedule my own on this one, and I go in and I put the content, I write it, I put the content in, then you have to pick when you want to schedule it and send it. And there's something about like seeing the finished draft and then hitting schedule and being like, ooh, that's all done. That's going to go out. That makes me feel really good. And then I go, ooh, I love doing this kind of thing. Whereas on the front end of that, you're like, oh, what am I going to write about? What should I talk to? Maybe, what if I push it off till next week? So anyway, the opportunity here, as we shift from scarcity, I don't have enough time, to, well, what do I have time to do? What can I accomplish? What is the opportunity? Is, what's one action in the next 30 days that would really make you feel most accomplished? Mm-hmm. And if you can state that, write it down, and work to what you need to do to get that one action done, you'll feel really good. And I think the momentum will kick in. It happens for me. It happens for everyone I know. As soon as you just get over the inertia, make the reframe, you're ready to go.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. You do have a certain sense of satisfaction. there. There's no question about it. But I think the other thing that might get in people's way is, Lord knows I'm guilty of this, is I've got a plan and it isn't perfect yet. So I'm not ready to let it go. I'm not ready to do it. I'm not ready to go, and so I end up sitting there.
Yeah. And I think that happens when you don't feel like you have enough time, and then you're putting something together and you don't feel it's hit a standard that you like, which would be, for many financial advisors out there, perfection, which I get it. We did a whole episode on this, if you remember, Bill.
I do.
The episode on how can we shift from a perfection mindset to a let's make progress mindset. So the mindset shift number 2 is perfection to progress. So how about just some progress? This one I can't repeat enough, mainly for myself, but also for everyone out there listening, because you just need to keep moving forward. Progress builds confidence, like we were talking about from Mindset 1. And when you're trying to be perfect, you get stuck. It's like analysis paralysis. I hear it all the time from advisors. It's the analysis makes for a good plan, but not so much in the working through the things you need to get done. So I can see this happen a lot with... especially in kind of like reaching out to clients or following up with people. It's really difficult because you're like, oh, I want to say it just the right way. I want to get my email follow-up exactly right, and I should have a whole process for this. So I'm going to wait until I have the process figured out from 1 to 10 versus just writing one email and sending it out. And then being like, okay, I would love to know what my next one's going to be, but I don't know yet. So I'm going to wait until I figure out all of them. I see this happen with lead magnets. So I talked about lead magnets, and we do have an episode on that, I think.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yep.
So lead magnets, you're like, okay, I'm going to develop content that someone can put a name and email address in to download. And then I want to have it so it has an auto responder sequence after, where it's, an email goes out every week for 12 weeks after, and it's this really cool thing that I do, and I'm going to develop it all out. And this is like tried and true. We're like, well, I want to make sure we get the whole thing figured out first, and then we'll launch it. So
and
you can imagine how long that's going to take.
Forever. That's why I'm sitting here laughing. It's going to take forever.
So I'm always like, well, let's finish the content and put it on the site with a form that captures the name and email. And then we have a thank you that says, thank you, here's the piece you requested. Because believe it or not, Bill, people aren't waiting in the wings for you to post this material so that they can download it. So
no,
I know it's not the magic bullet. It's not going to solve everything. It is a way to capture a lead so that when someone comes, they can indicate interest in your service or business, and perhaps learn something about you. As long as you deliver step 1, hey, you requested the material and now I've delivered it to you. When you get someone who requests it, it's a great time then to be like, oh, okay, that person downloaded it. What would I like to send next to them? Sure, if we can figure a few out in advance and get them lined up, I love it. But don't do it, in waiting for the perfect sequence.
Yeah.
So
that's I don't know about you, but I find that when I do that one thing, in this case, we're talking about lead magnets, but when I send that one email out, it creates a momentum.
Yeah. No, it's 100%. Yes, absolutely. And I just think about it because then you're like, okay, when someone actually requests the material, you get excited and you're like, okay, someone wants it. Oh, now I want them to know this, now I want them to know that. And I do agree that having, the second one in place does make you feel better, but if you're pressed for time and you're like, I don't want you to do it in lieu of launching a value add for for a lead capture mechanism there, because it's really essential that we don't wait on these things. So I have a client who is working on an event that's going to be coming out in a couple months, but we're unsure if people will be interested in the content or the format. And despite the efforts of everyone wanting to figure out what the content is, what I have encouraged them to do is say, let's get a concept. So we have the concept, and we wrote an invitation email, and we have a list of people that we want to invite, and we have to put a deposit on the space because it's going to be an in-person event that we're planning, right? An in-person workshop. We're inviting these business owners in the community, and it's unclear whether or not the content will resonate and be the right angle on what to bring people in for. But we're going to try it out, right? So rather than mapping out the whole agenda and all of the speaking points and getting the PowerPoints ready and the discussions and the workbooks and all the things we need right away, I suggested, how about we send an invitation email that says, we're holding this event, here's when it is, here's what we're going to cover, high level. Is this interest? It's of interest to you, please, RSVP, and then, the CEO will call and check in and see who wants to come. But it's the easier way, rather than perfectly figuring out what this event will look like from soup to nuts. It's like, let's do a little wet test, as we would call it way back in the day in the agency world. Send out a concept. If people start going, yes, I'd love to, let me block my calendar. The CEO reaches out, checks in. Would you like to come? How's it going? And we start to see what the interest is. Then we can develop all of the pieces that come with it. We have the framework, we have the topics, but to put all of that energy and resource into developing this half-day event without knowing if there's interest or not is really about letting the perfection of knowing what's going to happen overtake, which actually leads us perfectly into the next mindset. So before we get into that, I just want to say, for anyone who is struggling with the perfection piece, take a look at what you're doing and say, where is it that you're waiting for perfect instead of moving forward with good enough? And any advisor who works with me knows that especially in marketing, business development, sales, any of that, I'm always reinforcing, let's get it good enough. Good enough. Hit the button, ship the product, do the thing, right? Get it out there. So that's number 2, perfection to progress. And if there's one that you focus on, I think that one is really important because it does, again, we're all talking about momentum. These are momentum shifts.
Yes.
But another, when it comes down to it, we really want to, as I was talking about that event, and getting it perfect and all of that, we don't know if the big fear is like, well, what if no one is interested in this? And I was like, it could be, right? So let's focus on what we can control, which is we can send an invitation out and see if people want to come or not. That's all we need to do is send out an invitation and see if people are going to say, yes, that's interesting, or no, I'm busy. That's all we need to do right now at this piece, right? We don't have to know what the outcome will be yet. We will be able to make that decision once we have a little more information. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at you, and I'm thinking, and you're probably looking at my face thinking, I don't think Bill understands what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't think Bill gets what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, because what I'm thinking is that you do want to have, you can't just send an email saying, hey, I'm thinking about having a picnic on Saturday. Are you interested? Or maybe you can. Maybe you need to say.
Why can't you?
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think in this case, you send the invitations out, and at the worst case, if 2 people respond, but to make a good event, we need 8 people in the room, because we're talking about a workshop with pretty wealthy individuals who coming in, and we don't need 100 people, but we need a quorum, right? We need enough to make it interesting. If in fact you only have two, you can change what the offer is and be like, oh, in fact, we ended up having to move the date, or what we're going to do is do a smaller event, or I'll take you out to lunch or something, whatever it is, you'll adapt. Right.
Right. Okay.
But definitely, people, I know that makes people nervous. That is a very extreme example, but usually it's just send an email and we'll be able to deal with whatever happens after that. It's more about getting into action.
Right.
But when we're talking about this next mindset shift, it's like shifting from, rather than what you can control.
Yeah.
You really just want to say, okay, let me get clear on what my next step is. So we want to look at, this is big in business development, rather than, oh, I'm going to control the outcome. It's what is the clear next step I can take?
Okay.
What is the activity I can do? So rather than going, I need this prospect to sign up for me and move their money over, it's like, okay, what's the very next step I can take? What are the activities I can do that will increase the likelihood that outcome will happen? So that's where that comes into play.
Okay.
This happens a lot in the, looking at like whether or not a prospect will sign up, how a client might react to the market and what's going on, whether or not, people show up to your event. All of these things happen, but it's kind of the classic lead to client conversion situation where it's like, you're so worried about whether or not the person's going to become a client that you fail to take the activities or the actions to get them there. And I think what a lot of advisors forget is like, this is actual advice we give advisors give clients all the time. We can't, as a whole, we can't rely on the outcome. We don't know if any single prospect, as an advisor, if any single prospect is going to get, derailed in their pursuit to work with us because of a life event, because of a job situation, because someone else made a more compelling pitch, or whatever it might be. You can't rely on the outcomes, so we just focus on what you can control, which is outreach, providing value, answering questions, continuing to stay in touch over time. This is the same advice that advisors give their clients when the market's rocky. We can't control the market. We can't control external factors. We can't control what's going on in the world, but we can control, are we systematically investing money over time? Are we invested in a portfolio that's diversified and minimizes risk? Are we, setting up the certain accounts, the guardrails or emergency accounts we might need? Those are the things that your clients, that we can control when it comes to money. And it's what advisors are excellent at conveying to their clients. So we need to take that back to ourselves and say, okay, I have to focus on what I can control. Much like I tell my clients, that's what we need to do. And this comes up mostly, I would say, in business development, because it's always about, I had that consultation, I sent the thank you email, and I haven't heard anything from them. Oh no, they're not signing up. It's like, just follow your system, follow the defined communications that we've talked about. We talked about it in episode 22, but like, what are the steps that you're going to follow? Don't get married to the outcome. Don't worry about it. Just keep the follow through going. And, that is really where I see the biggest shift in people, is to just focus on, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do the activities. I'm going to post on LinkedIn. I'm going to respond to the email someone sent me. I'm going to send out an article to a prospect about a topic that they'll find interesting. I'm going to call a client and wish them happy birthday. I'm going to reach out and say, how was that vacation that you had? I'm not looking to get a referral from them or increase the share of wallet directly on that outreach, but I'm doing the activities that deepen a relationship that then would put me front and center at the time when someone has an event that matters to them. So you're doing the communication, you're doing the outreach. Those are the things you can control. You can't control how someone responds to it, or whether or not they do respond, or whether anything comes out of it. So I think that can be really relieving.
Yeah. Yeah, because it puts your mind on the current present moment,
Yes.
as opposed to worrying about something that might happen, could happen out there somewhere that may never happen.
Rumination. I'm great at it.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me spend all day worrying about the possible negative outcome.
Yes.
And how I could have changed my actions to, it's like, okay, that does bring up a good point of saying, hey, we can, have periodic check-ins, right? And take a look and say, hey, I'm at a certain point. I'm going to look back and go, what were my actions over the last quarter? What were the results coming out of that? Were there certain things I did that I could change or alter the action, not the outcome? Right. Again, we can't control the outcome, but can we change the action now knowing what we know today?
Right. It's called a review, right? We review
exactly.
it. We look at it. Yeah, right?
We went back and we said, hey, let me look. Is there something I would change about how we handled X, Y, or Z? And then we'll make adjustments. And that's a great time to bring your team in too. Like if you have certain, if you run an event and people are involved and they're like, oh, it was crazy. Why did we do it this way? Or maybe we could have had this in place or another, handled it a different way. And get the team involved, ask people, what do you think? What worked well? What didn't work well? What should we change moving forward? And then you have that to apply to the next endeavors that you do. But it's still only about, these are the actions I can take. This is the plan. You can have it planned out. Every time you can have a better plan, right? An iterative situation. You're like, oh, now the plan is better. And then you'll feel better because you'll be closer to perfection. So you can feel better. Like it or not, But
yes,
so
exactly.
Yes. So in terms of thinking about this mindset shift, so the control, trying to control what happens, to clarity on next steps. What I want to ask people is, what's one thing today that you can take an action on that moves you closer where you want to go, where you can let go of the outcome and just focus on the activity?
Yeah. No. So you're not stuck on making it perfect. You're not stuck on, being frustrated and thinking I'm not getting anything done here and I don't know what's going on. You're like taking this moment to shift your mindset and think, I can do this one thing. Yes. I can focus on this. And then I can send this out to people. And I don't know what the outcome's going to be on it, but I can at least send it out and they can respond back. And I may get 50 people.
Yes, exactly.
I may get 4, but I may get 50. So it's like, it doesn't matter. What matters is that it gets done.
Exactly. And I think as we're looking over a short window of time in a time of year that's really busy, where there's, family events, there's fun things to do, there's energy, there's overwhelm, there's chaos. It's just a big time of year. It's an important time to think, okay, let me make sure I'm taking care of myself. And if we come back to mindset and we look, focus on these 3 shifts, whether it's, I feel, scarcity and taking a step back and saying, I'm going to turn that to what's the opportunity here? Mm-hmm. What can I do? Letting go of perfection. We're not going to get it all right. And how can we just make some progress without worrying about getting it perfect? And then finally, rather than trying to control what happens, what is the action I can take? Where can I get clarity to move forward and have an activity or an action that I do? And as I list those off, I'm thinking, 3 might be too many, right? Maybe you just need to focus on one of those. Maybe one of those is the one that's dragging you down the most, right? So I ask everyone listening, where do you need to practice? Which one of these is the most important for you in terms of shifts to make to be able to navigate through the rest of the year, to get through this period of time where you know it's going to be a little more amped and a little more stressed, to try to dial it back a little for yourself. So I do think that it can get overwhelming to be like, I can't do all three, therefore I'll do none. Like, pick one. It's fine. Even small shifts make a difference. If you can, progress in small ways over the next 6-8 weeks before the new year, before, if you're listening this later, before a time when you're going to be, you have a marker of a deadline. As you start moving and making these tiny shifts, you'll gain momentum, and you'll not just, you'll finish the year strong, maybe not perfect, but you'll finish strong, and you'll be set up for momentum heading into the new year. And I think that relieves a lot of stress for people. And I don't want you to lower your expectations on yourself. I don't want you not to strive for big goals, but at certain points, especially when you're feeling crunched and that pressure, we do need to take a step back, make the shift and go, okay, I'm going to get a whole lot more done if I bring it back down to what can I do right now? What's an activity I can do that helps me move forward, that I can do good enough and I can complete? So that's my advice for today. I don't want people to get so overwhelmed that they punt and go, you know what, it's impossible. I can't get any of it done. Therefore, I'll do not. Like, let's break it down. Let's bring it back. Take a breath, like I said, and focus on one activity. What is the one next thing you can do? And I think that'll make a big difference for making it through the end of the year or until that next big deadline that you have to feel good about it.
Yeah. And I think that, just the satisfaction or, just the relief of having done one thing will make all the difference in the world in terms of the way you feel. And, and it does. Action begets action. We know that, right?
We do. And we say it again out loud for you, for me, for everyone listening. So right. I kind of feel like I know what you're going to say here, Bill. I feel like you say one action you can take.
Yes, I know what that action is. There are two actions you could take, actually. Well, the first action is that if you're not familiar with Kristin, you may want to reach out and talk to her, have a conversation. And if you are so moved, Kristin, what is the best way that they get a hold of you?
The best way is to go to fulladvisorcoaching.com, click that button in the upper right-hand corner that says request a call, and you can pick a time to meet with me. You can also reach out on LinkedIn. I'm on there frequently and happy to respond to messages there.
Yeah, and if you're not motivated to do that right at this very moment, the other thing you can do, which is really, really simple, okay, there's no excuse for this one, is hit the follow button. Become a subscriber. Because once you've done that, you won't miss another episode. And then, before you know it, you're listening to episodes and thinking, maybe I should reach out to Kristin, and you will. And you will be happy that you did so. The other thing I would ask is if you like the podcast, tell people about it, please. Because word of mouth promotion is irreplaceable in this world that we live in where who knows what is recommending what to you. It's always great to have someone say, I really find this podcast interesting. So we would thank you for that in advance. So until next time, I'm Bill Tucker on behalf of Kristin and everybody at Full Advisor Coaching. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. And remember this, you can go out today and make today a great day or not. The choice is yours. Until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to Full Advisor Coaching, the podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please hit the follow button so you'll never miss an episode. To learn more about how you can become a part of the Full Advisor community, visit fulladvisorcoaching.com. Remember, stay connected and get notified as soon as brand new episodes release. Click the follow button now. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Kristin Harrod or Full Advisor Coaching.